Somewhere on this planet, right now, two groups of humans are planning to destroy each other. Not animals, not machines, humans. And the terrifying part? This isn't new.
This is the oldest thing we do.
Tonight, think about the last argument you had. Maybe it got heated. Maybe someone said something they couldn't take back. Maybe for 1 second, something darker crossed your mind. You didn't act on it. You're a civilized person. But here's the question nobody wants to sit with. When did that start? Not civilization, not laws, the killing itself.
For most of the 20th century, the dominant story was simple. Prehistoric humans were peaceful.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau called it the noble savage. It was a beautiful idea. It was also wrong. In 1964, archaeologists excavating Crow Creek in South Dakota uncovered a mass grave. Nearly 500 human skeletons. Nearly 90% of the skulls showed evidence of scalping. Hands had been cut off. Faces had been mutilated. The bodies had been left in a pile, then buried together later, likely by survivors returning to the site. This was not an accident. This was not a hunt gone wrong. This was a massacre.
But Crow Creek was recent in archaeological terms.
The real question is how far back it goes. And here's where it gets strange. In 2016, researchers working at Nataruk on the western shore of Lake Turkana in Kenya found something that stopped the entire field cold. 27 human skeletons, dated to approximately 10,000 years ago. Before agriculture, before cities, before any of the things we blame for war. Crushed skulls, arrowheads lodged in cervical vertebrae, fractured kneecaps, consistent with being bound. One skeleton, a woman, showed evidence of being pregnant at the time of her death. The researchers published their findings in Nature and called it unambiguous evidence of prehistoric warfare among hunter-gatherers.
With no permanent settlement, no agriculture, no territory to defend in any conventional sense?
10,000 years ago, before the story was supposed to start. But even that's not the beginning. Because the real answer to when humans started killing each other is buried somewhere in our biology. The predicted rate of lethal violence in humans, based purely on our evolutionary lineage, was approximately 2%. The actual rate they found across prehistoric skeletal records? Between 3 and 4%. We came in slightly above average, even for a primate. Our closest living relatives, chimpanzees, conduct organized raids on neighboring groups. Males patrol borders. They identify isolated members of other communities and kill them deliberately, strategically. We share 98.7% of our DNA with them. Chimpanzees don't go to war over resources. They go to war over status. Sound familiar? But this is where the story complicates itself. The same evolutionary record that shows us killing each other also shows us doing something no other primate does. Dying for strangers. Lawrence Keeley, an archaeologist at the University of Illinois, wrote a landmark book in 1996 called War Before Civilization. He had spent years cataloging skeletal trauma in prehistoric remains. The violence was real. It was organized. It was frequent. But inside that violence, something else was also happening. Humans were forming coalitions with non-relatives at a scale no other species attempts. A chimpanzee's coalition is his brothers, his sons, the males he grew up with. That's the ceiling. Early humans were somehow convincing strangers, people from different families, different camps, different backgrounds, to fight alongside them, to risk death for someone they weren't related to. That required something chimpanzees don't have: a shared story. Anthropologists call this the paradox at the center of human violence. The same cognitive leap that let us organize war is the same leap that let us build the largest cooperative societies on Earth. We didn't evolve to be killers. We evolved to be the most sophisticated coalition builders in the history of life on this planet. War was a byproduct. The further back you go, the less organized the violence becomes. Single bodies, individual trauma. Someone killed this specific person, probably someone they knew. As you move forward in time, the signatures change. The bodies cluster. The wounds become uniform. The evidence of coordination, of planning, of a group deciding together to end another group. The first war wasn't a moment. It was a gradient. A slow accumulation of the cognitive tools that made mass organized violence possible. And those same tools, used the other way, built everything else. The first humans who killed in organized groups were also almost certainly the first humans capable of organized forgiveness. So, when did humans start killing each other? The honest answer is, before we were fully human. The killing never stopped, and neither did the building. We've been at it for at least 10,000 years, maybe longer. We're still trying.